I'm on, and welcome back to Don't Take the Box. Today we have April's Upcrate box for you. And, well, I have nothing to add to that, so let's get to it. As always, I'm giving you the first view. And we have, I'm seeing some pink underneath, well, and some pink on top. We have this month's Battle Post. And pink. Well, maybe I should check if there's something underneath first. And there is a lovely, lovely seascape. This is probably artwork of the month by co-captain Tukava Illustrates. I really, really like that. Then we have this month's stickers and a sketch pad, A5 medium fine, by Clairefontaine. Pink and Clairefontaine, what's not to like? Lovely, lovely texture. And not bright white, but more of an off-white. I wouldn't say beige, but more of an off-white, which I actually prefer. So this is very, very exciting. But now let's see what we have inside. A lot of things apparently. First of all, a big box, a box of Spectrum Noir color blend pencils in It is a bit of an odd 12-piece selection because we don't get any whites or blacks, but all bright colors. So that's nice. Although I do see one that has lost its point already, so I will have to find a sharpener before we can get started. But this is really nice. Even though it's a thing that I very rarely make art with, I do love colored pencils, so I'm very happy with that. And then we get a Classique, also by Spectrum Noir, which seems to be a marker in Periwinkle Blue, which is a very soft light blue. And if you can believe the marker, if you may believe what is written on the marker, this seems to be a brush tip and a chisel tip, but actually we can check that. That's what we're here for after all. Yeah. I don't understand though why they have to individually wrap this in plastic. It really adds nothing. Okay, so this does seem to be a chisel tip. Oh, And this is not a brush, but more of a bullet tip. So I read that wrong. But anyway, it's a marker which I really like. I think we had some Spectrum Noir things before, but not this exact one. We have already found the blue pencil tip that got crushed in transport. It's always sad, but I assume that you can't really avoid this, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. And lastly, we get another loop marker, but this time it's a fine liner and not with acrylic paint, but water-based ink. And that is super fine. Once again, it's a brand that I can't find in shops where I live, so I'm always very happy to get something by this brand in this box. I've never had a marker by them that I didn't like, so I really hope we continue to get these extras. Yeah. Anyway, time to get swatchy. First, let's see what these lovely pencils have to offer. Well, they're not easy to get out of the box. First of all, we have Dusty Pink. Not only a very, very lovely color, but also a very, very smooth feeling on the paper. I will note though that the paper that I used to swatch is a little less textured than the one that we got. So I hope that when we get to drawing, we will get the same effects. Next we have Ladybug. Again, a lovely color, very smooth. Not a very crisp line, but then these are colored pencils and not drawing pencils, so we will not complain about that. We do get a very bright and soft even coat. Next we have Goldfinch. I really do love these names too. Feeling wise, I'm really happy with them. Sometimes you get some colored pencils, especially lower quality ones that are rather scratchy. Bumblebee we have next, which seems to be more of a muted yellow, maybe more of an ochre color perhaps. I hope that the difference between the two yellows show up on camera. I can see it very clearly, but I'm not sure if you can. And next we have Icicle, which seems to be a sort of pale turquoise. I should also note that the box of colors that we got is not their standard box, but the vivid color box, which may explain the selection. Next we have Seagrass, which seems to me to be a sort of teal color. Next we have Smooth Jade. Oof. This is the pencil that I had to sharpen before we got started, and it seems to me that perhaps the entire lead will be faulty because it already broke off again. Once again, it's always a little sad, but I suppose since these boxes are shipped, accidents like this can't really be avoided. Oh, Smooth Jade. I must say it's not my favorite tint of light blue, so if it had to happen, I'm kind of glad that maybe it happened with this pencil and not with a color that I really like, but then maybe I'm colorist. Next we have another blue shade called Lagoon, which is for me the sort of perfect mid-tint sky blue. This one too seems to have gotten a little damage on its point, but the lead seems intact. Next we head into the purple shades with Amethyst. A little darker with Indigo. Although I must say I always think of Indigo as a really dark blue with the slightest hint of purple, and this seems to be an almost violet color, so forget what I said about the nice names that they chose out, it's not really accurate. Next we have a Wineberry. And lastly, a color chord called Orchid, which is reminiscent of a really imperial purple. Absolutely lovely. Two more things. First of all, this marker Classique, which has a thick chisel tip. It goes on broad and fine quite well. And the bullet tip, which gives an ever so slightly thicker line than the small side of the chisel tip. But creates a very even coat in soft periwinkle blue, which is really nice. And then lastly, we get a fine liner. I'm going to check. Oh, it does write immediately. I'm telling you because the other loop markers that we have or have gotten were paint markers which you have to shake and prep before you can use them, but this works like any other fine liner. It's a 0.1, so it is quite fine, but we get a reliable black line nonetheless. Is this the best fine liner we have ever gotten? Probably not, but it seems to work really well, and maybe I should check whether it works over. Well, obviously it works over a marker, but I'm going to check if it will work over pencil, because I do not know whether these pencils are waxed based. They feel smooth, so they might be wax based, but some markers, specifically fine liners, have issues with wax based pencils, so I'm going to check. That seems to work perfectly. Does it smudge? It doesn't even smudge. Well, Testing successful. Time to get drawing. This month's battle topic is Underwater Paradise. Some final thoughts. First of all, you probably noticed I'm really happy and very excited. First of all, because of the color selection that we got. It's not the most conservative or standard set, but since I love pencils, I already have a lot of standard sets, and I think this will make a great addition. Secondly, they also worked really well. I should say I didn't think that they layered particularly well, but the colors do blend quite well, and I have a feeling that I got a really smooth gradient in the whale that I drew, so very happy about that. The marker I do love. I absolutely adore the color, but I did find that it didn't work really well on this type of paper. Also, it is an alcohol-based marker, so not only is it quite smelly, it also really, how shall I put it? It really poured into the paper, as opposed to working with alcohol-based markers on specific marker pads, where you get more of a feeling that you can blend and work with them. On this paper, it was more of a struggle. I really tried to get an even coat, and it just didn't work. But I don't know, I have a lot of marker pads, so maybe I will give it another try. I do love the color, so I would not want to give up on it very easily. And lastly, the fine liner. Well, it's a fine liner. I mean, I do love this brand, but I did not find that this fine liner was anything special. Also not bad, not at all, just nothing out of the ordinary. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. And if you didn't, leave a comment as to what I could improve. And then I hope to see you next week. Bye!